All right, hey guys. My name is Jared Thomas. For those of you that don't know me, I am a current senior at CMC. I'm looking forward to, meeting the new faces that I don't know yet later, and also catching up with those that I do know. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is a little bit about global poverty and a conversation that has started to develop in not only my own head, but throughout my CMC career as well. So what happened last year was I had an awesome opportunity. A friend of mine, Nora Studholm, won the Davis Projects for Peace Prize last year. And she invited me to join her to help start Code for Humanity, which is an organization that is dedicated to teaching web development and technology skills to entrepreneurs. Is it possible to get the clicker? Forgot to grab that. Thanks, guys. So we're dedicated to teaching web development and technology skills to people that are aspiring entrepreneurs in developing countries. And we found this very important. And what we were trying to do was to promote peace by giving people the opportunities and allowing them to create opportunities for themselves. So what we did is we went to a place where she had studied abroad called Nosey Bay, which is an island off the coast of Madagascar. And so what Nosey Bay is, it's a place where they have an economy that's almost based solely on tourism. And because it's based solely on tourism, a lot of the tourism dollars, the whole economy relies upon it basically. And since it used to be imperialized by the French specifically, there are a ton of expats. And so it's basically the Caribbean for Europe, almost like Hawaii. And so they all come down and they're spending tons of money relative to one of the poorest countries of the world. But the problem is these expats are often keeping most of the tourism money and sending it back to Europe. They're not investing in the economy as much. And then the locals, the Malagasy people, they don't have the opportunity to take this money, to invest, to have opportunities to grow their businesses. So what we did is we were hoping to give them the opportunity to compete, to empower them to make their own websites. Without a website, it's really hard to book reservations, to advertise for your company in different countries. And so what we were hoping to do was accomplish these tangible, these monetary, substantive benefits from teaching people technology skills. So here's our first class of graduates. We had what we thought was an incredible success, and I still think so today. At the end of 8 weeks, our class of about 12 to 20, depending on the night, where we met 2.5 hours every night, we went from some people having never used computers before to everyone knowing basic HTML and CSS. Also, everyone had created at least one, if not multiple websites, some of which people were already using to try to promote their local businesses that they had. Since we thought it was such a big success, we wanted to raise money to not only keep the program going in Nosey Bay, but also to spread this program to other developing countries. We were focusing on those ones where people had resources, they had education, they're college educated in most cases, trilingual, they're incredibly talented, driven people. They just didn't have the opportunities for themselves. So this is one of our students, Elias. And Elias he's a very prominent member of his community. He's a leader. He works for a company called JCI, which is almost the equivalent of like a Rotary. And I apologize, but when we ask him, or I apologize because he's speaking in French, but we have subtitles. But what he shared kind of surprised me a little bit. And so I'm going to share it with you today. So again, sorry for the lack of sound. But right there, what he was saying was something that was new to me. We were focused on trying to empower these people, trying to help their businesses, and educating them. And these things are incredibly important. But what I really missed out upon was how important the sharing aspect is to the people that we were helping. And so what I want to focus on today is encouraging you as people who are going to have huge impacts in the future. You're CMCers, people are going to go a long ways. You're going to have opportunities to help at some point in your life. So what I want to focus on is when you're helping someone, no matter what it is, if it's people that are in developing countries, if it's someone at the office, if it's a family member, focus on creating a balanced relationship with the person that you're trying to help. Now, one of the things that we do is we give a lot of aid, we give a lot of education, we give money, especially as the United States, to tons of developing countries. And when we do this, what we do is we, in a sense, create a relationship that's off-balanced. We're seen as like higher than they are. It's almost giving in a patronizing way. Not that it's a bad thing, because we do need the giving. We're educating people, but without communicating with them, without sharing with them and hearing from them, as well as telling them things, we don't get the same benefit that we get from education. We get more of a benefit from having education and communication than we do from education alone. So what we can do is lead this conversation specifically on giving. We want to basically empower people by inviting them to join this global online conversation. Now, people have access to the internet right now in developing countries, but it's extremely limited. It's slow. Computers are difficult to get, and they're difficult to get access to, and it's expensive when you have different costs. But even in these countries, what people want to do is they don't want to just like be online. They want to be learning new things. We learned about an awesome program earlier from our first speaker where he was talking about how people can educate themselves online. They can find that appropriate path. And so what we need to do is give people the opportunity to learn from themselves, to go out and take these things that they can learn and bring them back to their communities. And so when we combine technology and education, we can do this very cheaply, and we can get a lot of good for a small amount of money. Now, the other things that we're giving for, food aid, health, those things are incredibly important. They're necessities. But we're never going to find that balanced relationship unless we encourage this sort of conversation where we have people that are on a balanced relationship, where we're learning from them as well. I was talking to Nora, who's my co-founder, she's the class of 2014, about different topics and what we were doing over the summer, and she brought up something called catalyst leadership, which I think she made up. But it's something I really liked, because what you're basically doing is you are starting this movement. You're starting this conversation, this business. You basically, all you have to do is give people a little nudge, make them feel like they're empowered, give them the opportunities, give them the technology, give them the internet access, and give them the education to use it. And then after that, you can watch the magic happen. So these people are now able to take what they've learned, and they're going to not only help themselves, but they're going to bring ideas back to their community, and we have the opportunity to learn from them as well, which will not only better help us to help them, but also give us some great ideas for our own community. And so building this community where we have a conversation that truly includes everyone is incredibly important. The disparity in like our standing, for example, as the givers throws off this relationships and makes people resistant to allowing us to help them. They want to feel empowered, they want to feel helped, but they don't want to feel dependent on us. We want people that we're helping, we want to make an investment so that they're going to become our peers and not the people that we are responsible for. We're not just giving so that we can keep giving. We want to give so that people can get to a point where these developing countries, they become developed. And what I mean to share, what I learned over the summer, is that in order for developing countries to become developed, one necessary aspect is that people feel empowered and feel like they are on the same level as the developed countries already. So when I was coming to CMC, I was focused on how to do the most good in the world. I was taking classes like health measurement and justice, global ethics, things like that. And what I want to say is, like, I benefited incredibly from being in a community where I was supported, where people were helping me. We need to create this community for people in developing countries. So it's not only these questions, these main questions of how many people can I save? How many people can I feed? It's also how can I include them and share with them in the conversation? So as CMCers, when you have the opportunity, I'm hoping that you can learn from this and share and lead this conversation with people. Thank you.